Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're here with a really special guest. John Godwin is the Director of Player Development here at US Kids. We have not yet done anything on junior clubs in depth, and we always kind of bookmark the show to do that this year, and this is the best place for us to start, John. It's so great to have you here.
Ian, thank you very much. You know, all the experts are from Scotland with the accent.
That's right.
You know, exactly right. I know you're an expert.
Well, I mean, I think let's take it from the top. And US Kids is the trusted brand for junior golf. It's synonymous with, you know, the evolution of the player as the growth happens and the swing speed increases, and obviously the clubs evolve into catering to that. So maybe give us a rundown of some of the ethos behind US Kids clubs.
Yeah, well, you know, Dan Van Horn is our president and founder, and he got started, his children were young and he wanted to get them into golf, and this was in the mid-90s, and there was no equipment out there. And so it was an opportunity for him, and so he's really the genius behind everything that we do.
Really?
He's an engineer by education, and so he's developed some technology that's really specific to youth. And so now the kids have a chance to play where the club is not part of the problem, it's part of the solution. So.
Well, we all remember the times when, you know, junior golfers, the route into golf was to get a set of golf clubs that was cut down by your dad, and it would stiffen up the shafts and they'd be particularly heavy, and it wasn't really designed for a junior golfer at all. It was literally just a cut down golf club, and US Kids have really addressed that from a head weight standpoint, a butt diameter standpoint, so the hands fit on the grips, etc. Maybe talk a little bit about, you know, the sort of design sort of philosophies.
That's right. Well, Dan came up with a system that you fit by height.
Yeah, so that's what we have obviously here.
That's right.
We have that in our store at TXG.
Right.
You know, all of our young juniors, we have to make sure that they're ready for clubs off the wall or custom, and if they're not, they're US Kids.
That's right. And so when they're fit by height, and then by swing speed. So if you've got a young player starting out, boy or girl, depending on their swing speed, we've got two different products. So we've got the ultralight, and then we've got the Tour Series. Tour Series would be for those young players that their swing speed starts to increase, and the head weights in Tour Series, they're a little heavier, so it's a little more club to be able to handle. And so now we've got a product range that would really fit all the kids in their journey through and growth in the game.
Excellent. I mean, we talk a lot about set optimization and that type of thing, and obviously making sure that we have the right amount of clubs, you know, in the bag. Players often have too many rather than not enough, so that's a great thing with US Kids Club, is the set can grow as the distances start to stretch out a little bit. You can add clubs into that set as and when required.
That's right. You know, and part of the thing, you know, parents get their kids playing all kind of sports, and so, you know, there's a financial commitment at some point, and so, you know, we believe you can start out with, you know, not necessarily a starter set, but less clubs, and then you can add as you go, and then as kids get more involved in the game and learn to play the different clubs, they can add on to the set. So, and we have our 6 club free program. So for every 6 clubs, you get one free.
Wow, that's fantastic. And in the Tour Series, it's not just graphite, it's not just lightweight. There's a steel option in there as well on the irons.
There is,
as the development, you know, comes on.
That's right. And you know, we really rely on our certified coaches and those that have, you know, really taken the time to really learn what we have. We rely on them to do the fitting. You know, they're the experts out there. You know, we believe it should be a dynamic test where they actually hit the ball, the coach is reading the ball flight, and then from there you can start to really make proper decisions in fitting the kids.
Yeah. And I love what you just said, because the dynamic fitting element really tells the whole story about US Kids, because too often I'll hear, you know, people talk about, you know, the height stick, and they'll just go, well, it's just that, and off you go by, that's it. That's not what it is. It's a starting point.
That's right.
That's where we'll start you, and then there'll be some testing that goes on sort of subsequent to that.
That's right. And you know, we live in the slower swing speeds, if you will. Yeah. That's our world. You know, a 40, 50, 60 mile or 70 mile an hour swing speed, and the biggest mistake that we see parents making, in the buying process, is they play with a club that's too long and too heavy. Yeah. And they don't have the right launch. They don't have enough loft.
That's right.
So as you know, with the slower swing speeds, you need launch angle. And so loft is important. You don't want to hit low bullets out there, and if the club is too long and too heavy, you don't get the launch. And it's all of those things that go into it. It's just not buy off the rack.
That's right. And so for the parents that are watching this and thinking, this is great, I'd love to get my kid into the game. Is this where we start it, John? Is this if the kid is young enough, we start with, the yard club?
It's a great place to start because it's got a training grip on it. As you know, as a coach trying to teach the grip, sometimes it's just over and over. It gets mundane. This way, there's only one way to hold it.
Hands just go straight into the right position.
Hands go in the right position. It's a pitching wedge loft on a 9-iron length.
Right.
And it's an oversized head.
Sure.
We've got a little foam ball that they can play at. We call it the yard club out in the backyard. They can train. And then also when they come to the course, they've got something that you can teach short game with it, pitching, chipping, sand play, full swing. Great place to start. Not a big investment. It's a great club.
And then I think that the starting point is all about, like you say, it's all about fun. Getting them out there, making contact, getting the hand-eye coordination dialed in to the point where at some point you'll evolve past that and into a few more clubs and that sort of thing. Start having fun like dad and teeing it up, and or mum as well. So yeah, that's what we all hope happens in the game.
And back to the coach. That's one of the coach's real jobs, that they help kids fall in love with golf.
That's right.
At the younger ages, if they fall in love with the game, there'll be a time where they'll go from trial stage to committed stage, and as coaches we want them to get to committed stage as soon as possible, but it's got to be fun. If it's not fun, the modern kid, if it's not fun, they're not.
They're dialed. They're just zoned out at that
they're
point.
Done.
They're tuning out.
That's
they're
right.
finding something else that is more fun. And in this day and age where we all fight for the attention, iPads and this and that, it's got to be compelling. It has to get their attention to the point where they want to do it. Because when you lose that, you've lost the battle.
That's right. The modern kid is very sophisticated. I call them thumbers sometimes because they're out there on the device. But golf's a great vehicle to do all of that. So
very cool, excellent. Well, guys, hopefully this has been kind of helpful for the parents watching with how to navigate, choosing golf clubs for your kids and that type of thing. US Kids, as I say, TXG is what we recommend for starting out, and as the progression with the swing and strength and height growth and all that sort of stuff, you can make your way up the levels. Excellent.
That's
John,
right.
Really
Thanks
appreciate
very much.
your time. That was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you again soon.